I had nothing left. I was dodging and juking so that I could do something, take it down and grab my weapons, and it went bloop. I got to watch its feet go into the ceiling. Well, howdy. Nearly Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day filled with hope and promise, threats and dire consequences, the whole gamut of the human experience. Definitely a good thing. It's good to metabolize, and hopefully you are enjoying, I can speak English, you're metabolizing as well. Definitely a thumbs up. I slept. I didn't sleep wonderfully, didn't sleep for very long, but I slept, and that's good. So definitely a thumbs up on that. There's a lot of stuff happening, a lot of stuff that I want to talk about. Like I finished the game Dead Island yesterday, and that was really cool that I finished it, because I finished I say about 20 games since 1982. I'm sure it's more than that. But it's not an incredible amount more than that. But by not hyper-fixating on this and not burning out, I was actually able to play it all the way through and win. And I'll talk about that in just a moment. Because, yay, YouTube algorithms and all that front-loading of videos. Hey, if you could toss me a like, that'd be very cool. If you could subscribe to the channel, that too would be awesome. If you could leave me a comment, I love comments. I read every one I get, thumbs up each one, and I answer as many as my executive dysfunction will allow. Thumbs up for that. And of course, I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These literally beautiful and literally awesome people have literally helped to keep me and my pets alive. It is greatly appreciated. I enjoy being alive. I know that one day I, like all people, am going to just not be alive anymore. But until then, I'm enjoying the actual living process. I hopefully didn't hold up my hands too long or take them down too quickly. Yay. But still, if you'd like to help me out and become a patron, there are links in the video description, wherever that happens to be. Yay, front loading of YouTube videos over. But yeah, I finished the game. It was goofy, it was silly, it had... Most people in companies that make games don't have a great ending, because the bulk of the people play the beginning, and then a smaller number get to the middle, and then an even smaller number get to the end, and an even smaller number take on the final boss at the end. So why spend a lot of time, effort, and money for the small number of people when you've got all the people that gave you money down here saying, we want something fun? So you spend the bulk of your time on this, and then it's smaller amounts up here. That being said, oh boy, sometimes the jank in Dead Island is frustrating and funny at the same time. One of the problems with the big tank zombie, they're called rams, and they're all bound up. There's some weird bit of jankiness that when they're just wandering at you, they will sometimes hit a thing on the ground and they'll blip about 10 feet up into the air. And then if you get close to them, or they are wandering and they get out of that glitch zone, they'll pop back down to the ground where they're supposed to be. That's fine when you're outside, because I can throw my weapons at a ram and it blips up into the air and then it comes back down and then I kill it and I get my weapons. When you're in the prison, it's all inside, tight corridors. There are more than a couple rams that you come across. One of them, in fact, this happened a couple times, and the last time it left me with nothing. I had to keep throwing my weapons into this ram. I had nothing left. I was dodging and juking so that I could do something, take it down and grab my weapons, and it went bloop. I got to watch its feet go into the ceiling. And that's the problem right there. There's a ceiling. They're not going into the air and then coming back down and continuing to fight. They're going off either into a part of the map that doesn't exist, or another room on a part of the map that you can't get to. And all of a sudden, every single weapon was gone, and I had nothing, no weapons. And I was at the end. So I had to just keep going forward until I got to the very end level boss. No weapons. I had to grab a rifle that was thankfully being left there for people, and then take on everything from there. Now, I've mentioned that there are fast zombies, slow zombies, exploding zombies. There's thugs where they're more powerful, but they're slow. The end level boss, stupid story. But the end level boss is a guy who's been trying to trick you to get the cure, and then he gets bit. He uses the cure on himself, but for whatever reason doesn't work, and he becomes a super zombie. At which point it is stupid, because this thing moves just as fast as a running zombie and is as powerful and hard to kill as the thug. So I kept dying and dying and dying and running and dying until finally I just whittled its spongy health bar down and then won. But I did it though. I won. Yay! Using the rifle that was given to me at the very end, I was able to take down the big bad boss, and I won the game Dead Island. As stated, I have won more than 20 games, I'm quite sure, ever since I've started playing video games. I started with arcade games and an Atari 2600 when I was very, very young. Got my first computer in 1982, and then started playing and winning stuff since then. However, with my depression, with my ADHD, with my gluten intolerance, with all of these various things, it made it difficult to actually win a game. And when I could settle down and focus on it hard, I would tend to burn out very quickly. So I won games, just not many. And so it was really, really nice to be able to actually win a game. Thumbs up for that. Now I made the mistake of starting Riptide at the same time as I started Dead Island. Riptide is the sort of sequel to Dead Island. I want to play Dying Light, but I also want to play Riptide. Oh, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be doing on that one. I do want to do Dying Light, but I'm not sure. Plus, though, as systems and such continue to insist and demand more resources, my computer is getting more laggy and slower playing various things. And trying to record various things is getting even harder. Even tough stuff that is older, now that the system requirements just for the operating system is more than it was 6 years ago when I first got my system, a lot of stuff just gets choppier, even stuff that didn't used to be. So yay. Life is life though. Life is life. The other things I did want to talk about, I had therapy yesterday, and my therapist is pretty pleased, but I did talk about various things. I mean, like right now, I was afraid that I am in the middle of a biochemical depression trough, which is I have no cycles of negative thoughts. Anytime I haven't had enough behavioral training through going through behavioral training as an alcoholic, through rehab several times, to behavioral training on this, that, and the other. So I've got tools in my toolbox, and I know how to use the behavioral training stuff now. When I do find myself in any kind of negative or repetitious thoughts like that, I'm able to use the behavioral training and break it. When I'm in biochemical depression, there are no cycles of negative thoughts. It's just all the various chemicals in my system conspiring to bring my mood down. So there's really nothing for me to fight against. That said, depression is a wonderful liar, and it also greases the slopes for everything else. So you have to be careful. If you are prone to having negative thoughts, those are much easier to have, and they lead to much darker places faster than you would like. I'm not having the repetitious thoughts, but I'm very prone to them if they do show up. So I'm being very careful with the behavioral training to work on that. Largely, it's just if I find myself really feeling bad, I work real hard to keep myself distracted and out of those areas. So unfortunately, I don't have any real things that I can break that way. I'm just having to work and keep myself distracted, and of course I'm always chewing on things. Even though I'm not trying to live in the depression, I'm chewing on it from outside to find out what's going on with it. A description of this would be like, if you view depression as like a large tank, and I am a person who was in a city with that tank, and I want to observe it to make sure that I can, take care of it should things happen. In the beginning of my depression, just being in the same city with the tank was enough to, I could not think, I could not get near it, I had to run away. Now, when I have the depression or other horrible things, I come sneaking up on behind them. I get as close as I can, and I observe it stealthily from every point that I can. Sometimes so close I can reach out and touch it, just so I can find out what's causing it, why it's doing this, what can I do to deal with it. And that's a great change, because as stated, it used to be my reaction to this stuff was so harsh I couldn't even be in the same town. I would have such a meltdown. And now I'm that close and trying to figure it out. So it's a good change, and it's nice. I have been thinking, of course, about all creative things as well. A lot of it has been just touching on things to remember, touching on things to see if I've gotten any further insights on what's happening. I've been thinking a lot more about the supernatural kind of cryptids. The supernatural kind of cryptids, they're a very sad type of cryptid in the setting that I've created, because there's like 12 basic types, archetypes of cryptids. The supernatural types are one, and they can't do a lot of things that other cryptids can. You'll never find a supernatural type 13th kind of cryptid. They don't have a body to feed, and that's one of the issues. They don't have any of these things that go on that cause or were created by quantum knotting. If you're a ghost type cryptid, you are effectively just a reflection, a pattern, a copy of another person that's written on the matrix of the cryptid energy. You're not another person. You are a self-repeating, self-editing pattern that will slowly fade. You don't have the quantum knotting. You are a product of the quantum knotting on the matrix of the cryptid energy. And how devastating would that be? First, you find out just through working and digging around and working with yourself, and you discover that, yeah, you're not even a ghost. You're not the person that perished. You're just a recording, because all your memories of that life is just happening to the person that you've got the name of, but didn't happen to you. And it's very loud outside. It's garbage day. My apologies. So I've got this one story, one character I'm working on, where her name is Melanie Cable, and it's actually James Bakir that kills and eats her body, leaving just her, the cryptid, the supernatural type, afterward. And she gets shocked and horrified with the, I'm not who I thought I might have been. I'm just a recording, but now I'm an autonomous being. But it's later on when it gets the bigger blow, when she with another person are being semi-hunted, and this is just rough stuff. I have no idea what the actual thing going on here is, but it's like being hunted or looked for by something that checks out the quantum knotting, and it doesn't even see her. And so she's going further into the whole existential crisis, because number one, she's not even Melanie Cable. She's just a recording of Melanie Cable, and now she's a couple days old. And now it's rubbed in that she's not even what other people are. They have that essence of something that makes them a person. And as much as she feels like that, nothing else out there sees her that way. And that's unfortunate, because all of the supernatural type cryptids are that. They are self-repeating, self-editing patterns on the matrix of this energy. They're not really a personality. They're just the recordings of somebody else on the matrix. And that's rough. That's hard. That's harsh. I think, anyway. And so that's a crisis of... Remember, most of my cryptid stuff is just based on struggles for identity. Who am I? What am I? How do I fit into this world? And that's not necessarily a cryptid issue. That's everybody's dealing with this issue. And this is just my way of actually exploring it. All the cryptid stuff, struggles for identity. Yay! So doing what I can on that front. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab, and I'm going to go through and thank these 7 people that left me comments in the past 24 hours. It is greatly appreciated. Anything more than 0 is awesome. Thank you. If I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended, and even though I count in American Sign Language, well, I probably shouldn't get lost with only 7, but you never know. You never know. We have Confused Owl 29. I'm doing pretty good, thankfully. Tauntless, thumbs up and thank you. Jay with 2 Y's. Oh, I chew on my moods all the time. Oy vey. But thank you, and thank you. Ben B, thumbs up and thank you. Hatoro, I can't remember what was said, but it's not in English, but it was a nice thing. Thank you. Mr. Lonely, it was bankrupt creativity just because it was nothing creative on my part just to react. I was making fun of myself with bankrupt creativity. I was experiencing no creativity, and so I was just reacting to things. It was just a stupid thing. Don't even worry about it. That's why I stopped calling it that, because it was dumb. Then we have FIRDAUS SAFARINIE, thumbs up and thank you. And that is it. The 7 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours. Thank you very much. You get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people. If only in text, and if only for a short time. Thumbs up and thank you. It is appreciated. And of course, with my hands in the air, don't know where the show more for the video description is for the device you're watching this on, but inside there are links to all my channels, as well as my Twitter, my Facebook, my Patreon. And again, I do want to thank each and every one of these beautiful, awesome, and literally wonderful people who help to keep me alive. I enjoy being alive for the most part, and hopefully you could help me be alive. You don't have to if you don't want to, but these are beautiful and awesome people, and hopefully I've kept my hand up long enough and not too long. Yay. If you'd like to help me out, oh, that terrible sound again. If you'd like to help me out without becoming a patron, I do have a PayPal link, and if you'd like to help me out without sending any cash at all, there is an Amazon wish list link with things like cat food on it, so if you could check that out, that'd be cool. Don't feel obligated, I don't feel entitled, and if you can't or you don't donate, I take all good wishes and I deposit them in the bank of my heart where I draw interest. So thank you very much. And if you could toss me a like, I appreciate all the positive validation I get from my existence, and if you could hit the notification bell on the subscription button, that would be very cool. Well, as I talked with my therapist, I'm largely in survival mode because of the depression trough, trying to do what I can. So I'm going to try and make some phone calls today. Past that, I'm just trying to survive. And of course, I went to check out a cannabis shop that's like it's far, far away. And they're moving into the cannabis shop place that closed. And they're tiny and they're expensive. And so, yeah, everything costs more and you get less. Yay, change is so good. Still though, life is life. Life is life. But with the covfefe bug raging, you know the precautions you should take. Mask, vax, distance, wash, hokey smokes. You know what you gotta do. If you get it and you come out of it fine, that's fine, but that's just you, because we have 1,000 to 2,000 people every single day dying of this thing in the United States. It's not a joke, so please, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and quite frankly, I think that is a very good idea.